The following is a special presentation of the Decibel Geek podcast. This is the Decibel Geek podcast with Aaron Camaro and Chris Sinzak.
Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. Oh yeah, welcome back to the Decibel Geek podcast. My name is Aaron Camaro, joined as always by Chris Sinzak.
Vinnie Vincent Special Part 5. It is 5/5/2014.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 5th installment. Just seemed to make sense.
Nice.
And, okay, our guest for today, as you've probably already seen by the artwork, is a guy named Andre Labelle. Andre is the drummer in a band called The Sky, who also features Robert Fleischman, who we had on Part 3 of the Vinnie Vincent Special.
That's right.
And Andre has a history also with Vinnie Vincent. That's how he met Robert. Vinnie Vincent, back around 89 through 92, was working on an album that never came out. And it was initially for Enigma Records, and it was going to be called Guitars from Hell.
Right, I remember
But
that.
actually, as you'll hear in this discussion, it was going to be called another very familiar title that another band that Vinnie was related to ended up using.
Very cool
It's
stuff.
a cool story.
Things I didn't even know.
Yeah, so, and I actually went to some super diehard Vinnie Vincent fans to get questions for this, because I wanted to make sure we got some good questions for Andre, because this is a kind of an unknown period, because the album never comes out, and you're going to hear the story about why it didn't come out, and what was going on behind the scenes, what it was like to work for Vinnie Vincent during this time, because remember, the Invasion had already broken up very acrimoniously,
Right.
and Slaughter had been formed, so this was kind of Vinnie trying to step back into the spotlight. And Andre's got some interesting stories about equipment, and about, you know, recording techniques that Vinnie was doing, and he's auditioning, and an interesting story about barbecuing some chicken.
Yes.
So, but yeah, and as you heard on the intro music, and as you're going to hear for all the music throughout this show, this is all music featured on The Sky's new album, Majestic. It's their second full-length album,
Yeah.
and you will find the link in the show notes to this show. We want you to buy this album, because, you know, it's two guys that were related to Vinnie Vincent. Vinnie's not putting out new music, but these guys are, so let's support them.
It's the closest thing you're going to get, and it's damn good.
It is. It's really good stuff. It's produced excellently. I was talking to Andre about that the other day. So, so we got a lot to talk about, and limited time to do it.
So I guess there ain't nothing to do but get to it.
Here's our talk with Andre Labelle. I wanted to get into this, and let's just kind of start from the beginning. You know, we're doing this stuff about Vinnie, and then, of course, you know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just happened with Kiss and everything, and there was a question about, is Vinnie going to show up at the induction, which he didn't, which I think most of us figured he wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But how did you first meet him?
I moved from Virginia to Los Angeles in, was it 89? And I was out there just doing the typical auditions and whatnot. I ended up playing with a guy named Michael Marnarch, who is the guitarist from Steppenwolf.
Oh, right
and, I recorded some demos with him. He was friends with Vinnie and the engineer and referred me to him. And I just got a phone call from Vinnie one day saying that he was looking for a drummer and wanted me to come down and audition.
And you grew up a Kiss fan, didn't you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, the reason I started playing drums was because of Kiss.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Hands down, you know. I was like 10 years old in 76, and, you know, Kiss was just huge at that point.
Interesting. So
to be a big Kiss fan, you know, and to get invited by Vinnie Vincent to audition, that's got to be kind of a cool trip, huh?
Yeah, it was really serendipitous. It was bizarre because when I moved out there, I'm older. I'm in my 20s. And I wasn't pursuing anything involved with Kiss. I wasn't trying to get involved with anybody that had played with Kiss.
Right.
And for that to happen was really bizarre. Also, because I went to see a Kiss concert with Vinnie playing guitar, and Eric Carr was drumming.
Yeah.
And at that time, at the concert, I had I was just really taken by the concert. It's hard to explain, but it meant a lot to me to see that concert when I was young. And for Vinnie to end up calling me after moving to Los Angeles was pretty strange. I thought the connection was kind of weird.
Yeah, and you mentioned you met him through an engineer. Do you remember what the engineer's name was for that?
Yeah, it's Rick Barcelona.
Okay.
Yeah, terrific engineer at a studio called Grandmaster in Hollywood.
Yeah, we were watching a little bit of. There's like a small video snippet from the recording sessions from that studio. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube.
Anyone wants to come? Yeah, I'll come. I'm gonna have some hot chocolate. That's what I'm gonna have. Hello to the family. Mom and Dad. What are you wagging? Put your coat on, Vinny. It's cold as a mud. I heard that, man. Oh yeah. All right, Rick. You might as well get the tape off. All right. That's it for the day. All right. I don't think I can see anyone to know. I know what you mean.
It's got you in it playing, doing like some drum warm-up stuff, but it's only like a...
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, I was playing 26-inch kick drums. Vinny wanted me to use 26s, and as any drummers out there would know this, that I'm only like 5'5", and I don't like to tilt my toms.
Yeah.
The angle of where the toms would be above the bass drums. So he wanted me to use 26 kicks and toms that were real deep. And I didn't want to, rebuttal it, so I was just like, okay, I'll do it. But I could barely reach the tom-toms. That video kind of weird.
So, this was when you met Robert, was when Vinny brought you in to work on this project?
Now, what's an audition process like?
Yeah, that was it.
For Vinnie Vincent, what is the audition process like for something like that?
Well, I went in there and set up my kit in the studio. And then he comes in and talks a bit and whatnot. He puts a chair right in front of the drum set and had me play a drum solo, which was kind of crazy. And and then he would ask me different questions about, can you play a beat that has this kind of a time signature, and just, I guess, kind of challenging my abilities as a drummer. And that's the way it went down. And then after that, he has me come back to the studio, and at this point, I walk into the drum room, and there's like 8 drum sets in there, one of which was from Carmine Appice, because he used to play with Carmine.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just drums everywhere, boxes of drums from drum companies like Ludwig that hadn't even been open yet. And he had me go through all these drums with somebody helping me set them up and creating like Frankenstein kits with, say, like Slingerland toms and Sonar kick drums and Yamaha floor toms and all this stuff. And I had a blast with it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like a playland for a drummer.
Yeah, it was a good time, definitely.
There was, I remember I've heard interviews with Bobby Rock, who played in the Invasion before you worked with him, and
I'm friends with Bobby as well. He's an incredible drummer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great guy.
And he'd mentioned kind of ridiculous amounts of takes that he would have to do on drum parts and having to double them. I mean, do you recall being worked very hard during these sessions?
Yeah, well, he was doing everything by punching it in. Not only the drums, but the guitar. When he did his guitar solos, he had this like punch pedal that he created, where he could punch himself in and out without the assistance of an engineer, and he would sit behind the control board with the guitars out in another room. I mean, he had walls of guitar amps. It was unbelievable how many amps that he used. I'm not really sure why he went that direction with it, but it was like 15 cabinets or something set up with mics in a room, and then he would sit behind the control board with this punch pedal. And the guitar solos, I mean, if he could punch in a 30-second note, he probably would have done it.
Wow.
It was just like every little nuance was being punched in. One bend of the guitar solo might have been a punch. So when you hear his guitar solos, it's probably 20 different punches.
Wow. Can you imagine having to go back after that and learn how to play that? After you've gone through and done all that, the little teeny nuances and everything in there.
Yeah, he was able to do it, though. I mean, and every record I've recorded, the guitar players punch in and out like that, but he definitely went overboard with it.
Right. Now,
the drums were being done the same way, in a lesser way, but he would talk to me during the recording. I might get through just the beginning of the verse, and then he would stop and start talking to me through the headphones.
Yeah.
And talk about the next part coming up, and then punch me in, and I'd continue with the song.
Wow. So there wasn't a whole lot of, let's just jam, and then we'll get it on tape, and then we'll redo things.
Not at all. I never even played with Vinny.
Really?
Wow.
It was all just recording to tracks that he had already recorded.
So basically, this project that was being worked on at the time was going to be an album. Well, it wasn't. It's been talked about that the album was called "Guitarist from Hell." But there's also some. I solicited some questions from Vinnie Vincent diehard fans, and they wanted to know because I went right to the source for the best questions of people that could ask you these things. One of the rumors that's gone around was that, as you, I'm sure you know, Vinnie was also writing with Paul and Gene around this time, and there's a rumor that he was telling them that he was initially going to call this album Revenge, and then Kiss took that idea or asked him for that idea. Do you recall this story, or do you remember the word revenge being bantied about as a possible album title?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think I might have been the one who put that out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was going to call the record Revenge, and he was recording with Gene and Paul while we were doing the drum tracks. Mm-hmm. And he had told me at the studio that, I'm going to change the title because Gene and Paul liked that title, and they're going to use it for the record that I'm writing on. And I was like, okay, that's cool, And then he's looking for new names. Guitar Mageddon was one. Mm-hmm. He actually had like this big poster board thing that he brought in with the idea for the album cover for that title.
Oh,
and
really?
Then Guitars from Hell was another idea, and but the record never got released, so all of that just kind of fell to the
Those
side.
are all really cool album titles.
Yeah,
I like them all.
Was he pissed off at Paul and Gene for taking that title, or was he okay with it?
He was okay with it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like no big deal.
Okay, so he wasn't sore saying those guys are stealing my idea or anything like that.
No, not at all. I'm not sure how it came about, but no, he just came in the studio and just had mentioned it. So we're going to use a different title. I have a title I'm thinking of, Guitar Mageddon, and just went on with it.
Well, since
no problem.
That was pretty cool.
Since you were a witness to that time while he was coming into the studio while he was working with them, do you remember any details about what went down that caused things to go south with him and working with Gene and Paul on that album?
I never brought it up, man.
Yeah.
And he never mentioned it. We talked about Kiss a little bit because I'm a Kiss fan, and once I got comfortable working with him, I started asking questions about his time with Kiss, but it didn't really seem like he wanted to talk about it a lot.
Right.
He would barbecue at the studio, like grilling chicken and whatnot, and one time he had like 4 pieces of chicken on the grill, and these flames were shooting up, and I was jokingly saying, "You wanted the best chicken in the world, and you got it." And he laughed his ass off. He was just like in tears over that with the chicken,
funny.
But we never really talked serious about Kiss,
right? He
was in any way. I don't think he really. Maybe he, just didn't want to get into the details of it, and I certainly wasn't going to ask him any questions that would be of malice. And stuff that happens with relationships. I don't know all the details of what happened with Vinnie and Kiss, but it's out there for you to read. And
yeah,
sure.
Rolling Stone. I just did that thing with Rolling Stone. Eric Singer hooked me up with that actually, because he and I became friends when I lived in Los Angeles. He put an ad in Music Connection magazine that he was doing private drum lessons, and I always loved the guys playing, so I called the ad and got a lesson from him.
Oh,
and he had me go in his drum room and warm up. And then afterwards he walked in and said, "Okay, well, it doesn't sound like you're really here for a drum lesson, so what can I help you with?" And we sat down and just started talking about the music business, and he gave me just incredible advice on the industry and how it works, and basically gave me a lesson on the music industry, and we became friends. And he talked to the editor of Rolling Stone was contacting him about people that worked with Vinnie Vincent for the Rolling Stone interview, and he had them contact me, which I thought was super cool. The guy's a terrific person.
Yeah.
Eric Singer's awesome.
Well, and that leads me to my next question, because one of the fans had said to ask you about your links to possibly joining Kiss, and that you were in the running with Eric to possibly...
No, that is like such a... it's funny how things get blown out of proportion. It was never really anything where they were going to hire me to play with Kiss. I had lunch with Simmons one time, like in 2006, 2007, and he had mentioned that they had considered me, but felt that my stature wouldn't fit their image. Now I'm 5'5". I think Eric's 5'6".
I was gonna say Eric's about the same height, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit tall, but he's broader guy. I'm real skinny.
And now, Deep Thoughts with Gene Simmons.
Sometimes I wonder why in the hell that itsy-bitsy spider kept trying to climb up that damn water spout. Stupid-ass spiders. That's why they don't have spaceflight, or tacos, or gymnasiums, or huge books named Monster.
Want to be a member of the Decibel Geek Army?
You slimy scumbag, get on your face and give me 25.
Join us on our fan page at facebook.com/decibelgeek.
He loved you long time.
Doctors define modern rock disorder as a sudden, intense drop in musical taste, affecting all facets of the victims' lives and the lives of those around them. Over 20 million Americans suffer. Do you? Is your newfound love of Axe body spray, leather wristbands, and mountains of hair care products driving those close to you crazy? Has your overwhelming desire to crank Nickelback, drink a sixer of Natty Ice, and yell at girls from the back of a pickup truck seriously impaired your work or social life? The Decibel Geek podcast offers new hope. The Decibel Geek podcast, the only podcast proven effective for MRD. The Decibel Geek podcast corrects the chemical imbalance created by listening to bands like Theory of a Dead Man and Three Doors Down, so that with time and your hosts Chris and Aaron's help, you can move toward recovery. MRD hurts. The Decibel Geek podcast can help. Visit www.decibelgeek.com to begin the road to recovery.
Hello, baby.
Hi, this is Dr. Love calling, and I've got the cure you're thinking of. It's the Decibel Geek Podcast.
So back to the project. So, and you also mentioned Guitar Mageddon. He brought in a poster board of artwork. What was the artwork like?
I think it's out there.
Oh, is it with the giant, the mushroom cloud?
It has his guitars, two of them or something, with crossed necks. I can't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really
there's
cool.
like a big explosion in the background. I think I've seen something like that.
Well, and I was told to ask you that there's some unheard Guitars from Hell songs like Cock Teaser, Ride the Serpent, and Brainsaw. Do you remember these songs?
Classic titles.
Yeah, I recorded on those songs, but the recordings, he was messing with them so much, and then when the label messed up, the contract he had with that went south, and I think he got into like trying to re-record everything using drum machines and just went down, excessive destruction avenue, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I could see
that's what seems to have happened. There is some bootlegs out there of me playing on the songs that you guys mentioned, but some of the tracks that you hear out there are drum machine where he changed everything.
So Robert was already there by the time you came into the project?
Yeah, he was already there, but he hadn't done his vocals yet. I was there when he did his vocals.
Yeah, that
was fun. That was cool. I sat behind the board while Vinnie was doing the tracks with Robert. That was really neat. Well, he was nailing it. That stuff you hear Robert doing, he was just nailing it.
Oh, it's incredible what that guy can do with his
he's
voice.
An amazing singer.
Yeah.
So if Vinnie micromanages all the little notes on every single thing, how is he with Robert when Robert's singing? Is he cutting them? Is he just letting them rip?
He would try, but Robert wouldn't put up with it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, after when we talked to Robert about it, it sounded like they butted heads a little bit during the process of this one. But yeah. So and as you know, the contract situation with it was Enigma, wasn't it that he was with?
It was Enigma.
And
this all sounds real serious. The band is together. They're writing music. Albums coming out. Sounds like there's thoughts of touring and everything. I mean, where does this all go? Yeah. So the contract falls through, or did the company fold, or what happened?
It had something to do with Enigma. I don't know for sure, but my best guess would be that Vinnie had used up all of the budget from Enigma because he was being so over the top with the production and what he was trying to do. I mean, we were in numerous studios, like I think possibly 5 different recording studios over the course of like a year and a half or something.
Wow. See, I could see a record company being
so
okay
he burned
with that.
through all that money, and Hollywood Records was interested in picking him up, so he tried to get out of his contract with Enigma, but doing that, they took the record and shelved it. So that's what happened, I'm guessing.
Well, did you view this as like a real band situation, or did it feel like more like it was a paycheck situation?
A bit of both, you know. I mean, I would hang with Vinnie. I'd go over to his house and have dinner. Bobby Rock actually came over with the Nelson twins from the group Nelson. You remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Ricky's kids.
Yeah.
Bobby was playing with them, and Vinnie had like an Easter dinner at his house, and my wife and I went, and Bobby was there, and we would hang out, and you know, I mean, it was cool. It was never. I mean, Bobby, it seemed to still be good with Vinnie. It's like, you know, just crazy things I guess happen and people just forget about it. I mean, look at all of what happened with Vinnie with Kiss, and then he ended up recording or writing with them again during that Revenge album.
Right.
Yeah. Did the project get far along to where touring stuff got discussed?
Yeah, he was even discussing the video and all of that. It was really disheartening that the record didn't come out. It really was, especially for me, because I was new out there, and it was the first major label thing I was involved with somebody with that legacy.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get to the point where you're running through the songs complete to get ready to tour?
Not at all. No, it was all just the recording process.
Yeah. So, but I guess so you're excited, and then all of a sudden did Vinnie break the news that it wasn't coming out?
You know, it just kind of slowly unfolded. It was almost as if like we spoke on the phone. He told me that there's going to be some changes in the label, and we're waiting for that to happen. And I've got some things to take care of. And then weeks went by, and I started recording with other people.
Yeah.
And it just kind of faded away. And at one point, I felt like, well, I'm not going to call him. There's no reason to. I mean, he knows what he's doing with it, and he'll call me if he feels necessary. I mean, and he's just kind of faded away.
Right. And so during that recording period, that was the last time you got to speak to Vinnie about any of this?
That was it. That was the last time. But, you know, through playing with Vinnie, Kiss fans are like Star Trek fans. You know, I was really fortunate for that. I've talked to my brother about this, that, you know, if this had happened with another band, I probably wouldn't be on the phone talking to you guys about it right now. But Kiss is, I mean, it's legendary what they accomplished and what they created. And the fans are just, man, it's just, they'll never let go of it, which is beautiful. You know, I mean, I have to add to that, you know, my name got on the Kiss family tree on the inside sleeve of Kiss Alive 3.
I remember that.
I didn't even know about it. A friend of mine called me up and told me. But I mean, I lucked out on that because the album that I recorded didn't get released.
Right.
And Bobby Rock is the guy that was on the records, but they still brought it down to where I did that record in 91 or whatever, and
yeah,
that's awesome. My name on it, man. I'm a Kiss fan, so that was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, that had to have been a thrill of a lifetime, huh?
Yeah, that was really cool.
So,
very cool.
You know, and then a few years later, he ends up putting out that Euphoria EP, but it was with those tracks that you mentioned where he had replaced you with a drum machine.
I mean, he re-recorded everything. He probably just went crazy with it for years, you know, and then that was the result.
So what was your feelings when you found that out?
Oh, it sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess how else are you going to feel about it?
I mean, it is what it is, you know, at that point.
Yeah.
Well,
it really didn't matter, you know.
You don't have to pay a drum machine.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yes.
Proud to be one of David Lee Roth's favorite podcasts.
Yeah.
He's always running to get the next episode.
Oh, God, I'm running. Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't lie to you.
God damn it, baby, no, I ain't lying to you. I'm only going to tell you one time. Oh, yeah.
So be like Diamond Dave and listen to the Decibel Geek podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Woo!
Thoughts with Gene Simmons.
It is a hermaphrodite, half man, half woman. And I was born this way.
Listen to the Decibel Geek podcast on your iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones with Stitcher. Stitcher's smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
When I go through her,
Putting the O back in rock.
it's just like a hot knife.
Yes! 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 Yes!
You're listening to the Decibel Geek podcast.
You guys have a real organic quality to your sound. I can tell you guys got in the same room and just hashed it out and worked out the songs.
Yeah, man. The first record, we recorded the whole thing live. It was, there was no punching or anything at all. Played the song and recorded it. And then, Robert would go back and touch up some vocal parts, and the guitar players would punch in some guitar solo parts. But other than that, it was completely live. And the second record was done the same way, but just a little bit more punching and editing. And yeah, I think that I like that
That's the way.
Way of recording.
That's the way to do it.
So Robert didn't want to pull a prank on you and make you punch in for every beat and then just say it's for old time's sake?
There's a rumor that all of those tracks were replaced with a drum machine.
Oh man. So we talked to Robert about all this, and he had his own slant on what happened with that project and the other ones. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on everything that's gone down with Vinnie over the last few years?
I don't know what the hell the guy's doing. He's got so much talent. Why he couldn't just kind of clean himself off from the dirt and just come out and continue playing, I really don't know.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there that have been through just as much crap as he's been through, and they still continued.
Yeah.
But he literally vanished. It's like he turned into like a recluse kind of, nobody's heard from him.
Yeah, and there's the rumors that go around that he still writes country music under an assumed name, and then one of the fans had asked me that said that you had mentioned that you remember him doing country music at a time.
Well, yeah, he said that he had recorded tracks, different country tracks in Nashville before he was with Kiss. He was playing all kinds of stuff. The guy, I'd said this before, that he had this incredible speed ability on the guitar, but he was able to play any style of music. He could play stuff like Jeff Beck or Hendrix with the slow type of phrasing with a lot of quarter note and eighth notes, and he didn't choose to do that. I don't really know why, but he definitely had the ability to do that.
I think I would have rather heard some of that stuff and would be really interested to hear Vinnie, doing something instead of trying to impress everybody with how fast your fingers are, impress everybody with, your creativity and your own style, play it in a way that, Kiss fans can appreciate, because let's face it.
Melodic phrasing, definitely.
Yeah, if Vinnie Vincent comes out with a new album tomorrow, who's buying it? The Kiss fans, and not too many others, sadly, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, and he could have been one of those, guitar idols, in my opinion, like Satriani or Vai, if he had kept going. But
right.
no, I didn't know did you get to hear any of that country stuff he was doing?
No, I never heard any of it.
Maybe that's why he moved to Nashville.
Hopefully he'll hear this and put a record out like that. That's what I think he should do.
We've been clamoring for a long time. Everybody here on the Decibel Geek podcast knows we got this long-running thing with Vinnie, but it's always just to encourage him to come out with new music because, hey, we want to hear it,
Yeah, Britney survived shaving her head. There's no reason Vinnie can't come back out.
Right.
That's true. Although I don't remember Britney, painting an onk on her face or anything else, though. I'd like to see it though. So are you still a big Kiss fan to this day?
Oh, definitely. I think if you were a Kiss fan when you were coming up in music, that you will always be a Kiss fan.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I guess you're.
And, people talk about their image and all of that, of course, but there are so many deep cuts on those Kiss records that they're amazing tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that stuff like Parasite Lady and Come On and Love Me, and I love those songs, and I still crank them in the car to this day.
Yeah, we do too. Believe me, we've done a lot of stuff on Kiss. We're big fans. We thank you for being so forthcoming about your time working with Vinnie, because he's an enigma. Our most popular episodes seem to always be our Vinnie Vincent episodes.
I love that guy.
And so it's nice to have this piece of the puzzle put in, and we appreciate it. And we hope we've turned on some people to the sky today with the little clips we've played in and out of the segments. And thanks so much for doing this, Andre.
Hey, thank you guys, man. I've really enjoyed it.
We want to thank Andre for coming on, and him and Robert's band The Sky has just released Majestic, their second album.
Yeah, please go check that out. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, go to the links in the show notes, and you'll get to check that out and purchase it there, because we've got to support the artists, guys. That's how the industry keeps rolling.
That's right, and we play all kinds of cool music here on the Decibel Geek podcast all the time. We always encourage everybody to go to iTunes and buy the music, and the best way to do that is through www.decibelgeek.com.
Aaron, it's been fun doing another one of these.
It's been fun. We've been banging out some good interviews here lately. I think we should maybe do another one maybe next week.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, sounds good.
We'll see you next week.